In the Destiny Preacher of Hate video, what is described is more a current system than anything proposed by Destiny and the principle of oneness and equality, the principle of loving your neighbor as yourself. Our present system is a centralized regime, run as a dictatorship, advocating a regimented economical, industrial, and social hierarchy that suppresses free speech directly through punishment and indirectly through omission of outcome. What is censored is more of the same behavior that is the present system that denies life, evident in continued abuse of life to plant, animal, human, and earth presently manifesting here on earth. Again in this statement, this claim, so accusatory yet without any specific example, it is stated that some form of propaganda through democratic means is proposed for an anti-democratic cause. No specifics here. Destiny researches the current practices prevalent on this earth and exposes the full outcomes of such practices and realizes that should every person on this planet have one vote, their vote would be for an equal money system, where life lived in dignity would be the democratic choice. What is condemned is the mind. Any person willing to realize the limitation of the tool that is the mind, a tool that moves as polarities, that sees one side at a time and not the whole, that can be programmed through the media to hold one-sided beliefs and ideas and opinions, is the limitation, dividing and separating the individual into believing themselves inferior to the present system. This is Destiny's stance. The mind can only exist as inferior or superior. Given this list of statements, with no specific supporting evidence, I am actually replying to a mind that believes itself superior. How could the suggestion of a system that places life first be racist? Yet if race comes before life, and one believes their race superior, know that this is the mind. The mind, in its inability to realize the whole, functions in a fascist manner. That is the point. All hierarchical systems deny a collective of equals. The series of statements made in this video describe the present hierarchical system that exists here on this earth more than Destiny, and an equal money system. Our present system uses exploitive methods of mind control found in mystical religious or quasi-religious thought reform cults. Our present system uses religion and equal rights groups, uses mystical notions of enlightenment and ascension, all ideas separate from life, self as life, controlled by a hierarchical system that by its very nature controls through division. The collective being led to believe in parts, never being given the whole, never realizing the total outflow of choices offered, unable to hear and see because the tool of the mind that functions in polarities can only exist in one side or the other. Only see one side or the other. Asking the mind to see the whole only causes friction, just as when two opposing opinions or belief systems meet and clash, the opposition as polarity, unable to see the whole. Hierarchies use this, systems use this tool that is the mind, because in existing as a tool that can only function in a polarity, as right or wrong, as more or less, this being division allows a desire for power to conquer. United we stand, divided we fall. Religion and spirituality are just another hierarchy, a system of separation. In realizing that the mind exists as a tool of separation, unable to grasp the whole, all assumptions that continue the structure of a hierarchy that are the recordings of what is believed, of what has been taught to us as children, that the water of our physical bodies resonantly retain, that the mind can only see singularly in parts, becomes a traditional phraseology. The language we speak is what is here, and the words are placed in many different ways. Of course, Destiny's words are placed to no longer support a hierarchy and will cancel traditional phraseology. They include the whole and no longer support the mind and its ability to only see one side at a time. There is no mystical power in this, no magical power. If anything, words that reveal the whole will aggravate the traditional assumptions believed in the habitual phraseology recorded by the tool that is the mind, that is not of self, self being awareness of the whole. The Hermetic maxim is another belief, a separation into an above and a below, a heaven and an earth, an interdimensional and a physical. What is real here is the physical, but the hierarchies that conquer through division, that we all are responsible for because we have accepted and allowed them, maintain the tool that is the mind, that directs in parts, that only sees a part and not the whole, that cover the self, blind the self being one with the whole, the physical being here to allow life to simply be. There is no jargon here. The descriptions of how we exist here as the mind are specific and given freely. The means to pull ourselves away from existing as this limited mind that sees only parts and not the whole, where we become a personality composed of layers of belief, idea, and opinion, learned from childhood and reinforced through culture and media, are through the tools of speaking the words of forgiveness to discover ourselves as life. To do this, the mind must stop. In stopping the mind, the idea of transcendence is the illusion. The world takes on multi-dimensions. Destiny is saying we all are multi-dimensional beings lost in a dimensional mind. We need to discover ourselves of the controls that are done through limiting perception into polarities. This will make us stand as all as one is equal. Here we will understand what is really happening in this world. The mind sees only immediate relationships and not the whole. It cannot. The divine is the awareness of the whole. The mind is a slave to a hierarchical system of more than and less than, a system of power and gain. Our present money system is based on beliefs of more than and less than. Our present system is a hierarchy. The system statements made in this video entitled Preacher of Hate describe our current system and not the principle of oneness and equality, the principle of loving your neighbor as yourself. As Christ said when he used the words that one should love thy neighbor as thyself, he understood that hierarchies were of relationship to parts, and that lending money for interest was a means of conquering through division. This is why Christ also said he came with a sword in hand to sever the traditional relations between mother and daughter, father and son, sister and brother. He understood that the existent systems of power promoted separation into parts and blocked awareness of the whole. Survival power structures were made to be first, and life was covered by partition. Discover life, forgive the division of self, stop the mind. Heaven is waiting, and so are you. You just cannot see it.